Okay, let's do a little what I call my homemade dietetic oriental dressing. Just a little moderate flame there. I have everything pre-measured here. We're going to put the sesame oil in. And we're going to add the garlic and the ginger, and this ginger is the ginger that I peeled, put in the Cuisinart with some sesame oil or olive oil, whichever you prefer, and then I put it in the freezer, so I always have it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just makes life easier. So we're going to sweat this up just for a couple of minutes on a low flame. And the next step is to add the water to it. So just let it cook gently here to draw some of the flavor out of it, instead of just putting it into the water raw. I think we'll just get a little bit more out of it this way. Okay, that's been sweating up there for about 2 minutes, as you see, and that's enough. Now we'll add the water, 1 quart of water. And why is that important, the amount? Because the thickening agent is measured to thicken up 1 quart of water. And a little trick what I do when measuring, if I'm using honey and oil in the same recipe or some kind of a fat, is I put the oil or fat into the measurer first, pour it in, and then I pour the honey into this same measuring cup. And when you pour the honey out, as you'll see when I'm ready to pour it, it just flows much more easier. We know how sticky oil is. Now we'll just raise the flame. We're going to bring this to a boil. I'm adding the salt now, sea salt. I'm trying to use sea salt in almost all my recipes instead of regular salt. It's just better for you. When this comes to a boil, we're going to thicken it. Now once this comes to a boil and we thicken it, then we're going to put it in the refrigerator. Now you could do this the day before, refrigerate this, because the other items that have to be added, I don't add at this point, like the scallions, because we want to keep the green color, and the rice vinegar that I use. We don't want to cook the rice vinegar. And don't expect miracles from this. Don't forget, the base from this is not oil. The base of this is 1 quart of water. So we're trying to season this the best we can to give it a nice flavor to go on our salad. And that's all I'm concerned about. This is for myself, really. I've been using this for a few years already, because I love to put dressing, and a lot, on my salad. So I figure if I make something that's very low in calories, it's better for me. Now that it's come to a boil, we're going to add the rice starch. You could use cornstarch, arrowroot, but not roux, because the roux will turn everything white, unless you want it to look like it was a creamy dressing. So you could use roux, but I prefer to keep all the colors that are going in there the same color as they are. Just add the starch. It's mixed with equal amounts of water, and we're going to bring this to a boil, simmer it for a minute, and then we're going to take it off. I want everything out of here, so just rinse this out. I don't want to lose any of the starch. That's it. Now we have all of it. Now to this, going to add the honey. Now this should flow very easily. Well, a little bit easier. And then there's a little hot sauce and soy sauce, which I had already mixed together. And the only thing that we have to add after this is completely chilled is the vinegar, the rice vinegar which I'm using, and the scallions. Now we're going to check the consistency. Once this chills, it's going to be a drop thicker, but not much. If you use the roux in it, that really thickens overnight in the refrigerator when you make a sauce. Okay, this is not thick enough, so we're going to add more starch, because tomorrow, or 6-7 hours later from now, when it's thick, and after the vinegar goes in and you feel as if it's too thick for a dressing, you could always thin it with just a drop of water. But you know what? Think of all the salad dressings you've had and how thick they are. Once you mix them into your salad, they kind of thin out a little bit. If you have a salad spinner, you'll have a nice dry salad. If you don't, you usually have some water on there, so it really won't matter. Get it all out. And then we'll check it again in a minute. And just remember, the base of this is not oil. So really, how bad is it for you? And it's looking like a salad dressing. The consistency, and that's part of everything. The eye appeal. If it looks good and it tastes good, you have something. Now that's much better. It's got that creaminess, thickness, like a dressing would have. Let me bring this to a boil. Okay, let's see how thick that is now. Thickened it up a little bit more. And that should be just right after it chills. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to take this and place it in the refrigerator just as it is. I sit it on top of a metal can of like tomato juice. That way the air gets around it easier and it'll cool off faster. And we'll come back in about 6-7 hours after it really chills. Well, that's how I set it up, and I left the whip in there. Every half hour or hour, you just come and stir it, and by leaving the whip in there, the cold, it'll chill it even faster because the cold air goes onto the whip and into the dressing. Then we'll add scallions. I'm going to mix this up, then I'm going to taste it. Let's see if it tastes like a real dressing, or we have to put a little extra something in there. And all the flavors that I put in there are prominent. I taste the ginger, the garlic. The vinegar is just there. You could add more. You could take some out. This is good. And just remember, it's made with what? 96% water. I hope you enjoy it.